Right, drawing an isometric cylinder. Step number one is to look at the base of the cylinder. This would be the base of the cylinder drawn in as a two-dimensional drawing. All right, over here you can see that the diameter of this circle is 30 millimeters. Now, the problem with an isometric drawing is that you can't draw a standard circle, because if you have a look, the square that would have the same length as the diameter is now being squeezed, so whatever is inside that square is also going to get squeezed, which means that it will become distorted. Right. Last year you did a little isometric cube, and the way that we did that was to draw a line. You then take a radius of that amount, whatever the diameter of the circle that you're trying to draw. You then draw a circle, and inside that circle that I'm drawing now, I'm now going to draw a hexagon. Where I do a hexagon, so I place the point over there, I arc off over there and over there, take my point up to the top over here, I arc off over there and over there. Right, once I've got that, I can then draw in a lines connecting those points over there, lines connecting that point over there, that point over there, lines connecting those 2 points over there, and if you look carefully, you've got a hexagon. Finishing that off, I'm going to draw a isometric cube. There's my isometric cube. Right, once I've got that isometric cube, I'm going to just deal with this face right at the front over here. Just going to darken that in just a little bit so that you guys can see the idea. Right, once I've done that, I need to find the center of this line over here. If I draw a line going from this corner of the cube to that corner of the cube, it will go exactly through the center of that line. So I can now take that measurement. Can you see it's the same? All right. I can now take that measurement and I can mark that off on all of these lines over here. So there's the center of that line, the center of that line, center of that line. All right, so I've now got the 4 centers, and I'm now going to take lines from the obtuse angle over here to the center. That line's already drawn in. I'm going to take from the obtuse angle again to the center of that line. I'm going to take lines from this obtuse angle over here to the center of that line, and from that same obtuse angle to the center of this line over here. Right, once I've got that, I can now draw my isometric circle. So, step number 1, I'm going to take my pair of compasses, and I'm going to set my pair of compasses to this very small little radius over here. Okay, so I set that very accurately to that radius, check that it fits. There we go, it's fitting nicely, and I draw an arc. I then take it down over here, check that it fits there, and there, and draw that arc. Right, once I've got that, I now take my other pair of compasses, and I'm going to draw the larger arcs. Just going to use a different color over here. From that point, just extend it to the correct radius, and I can draw that arc in over there, and draw in that arc over here. Right, once I've got that isometric circle in place, I now need to draw a separate isometric circle a certain distance away. That circle, I'm going to say we're going to draw an isometric circle 80 millimeters away from this one. Take your set square. Just going to blot this first because I've been using ink, otherwise we're going to smudge it. Note I'm lining the set square up with that line at the base. I now place my ruler up against the edge of the set square, and I slide my set square across to this point over here. I'm going to call it point A. And I'm going to draw a line coming out from point A. I'm then going to move it to point B and point C over here. And I'm going to draw a line coming out from those 2 points over there. I'm then going to move it across to, I'm going to call this point over here, point D. And I'm going to draw a line going out. You'll see that all of those lines, they are all parallel to this line at the bottom. Okay? There's 3 parallel lines, all parallel to that line at the bottom. Right, once I've got that, I'm going to measure off that distance of 80 millimeters. So the cylinder length is 80 millimeters. I'm going to take that and I'm going to place it at point A. I'm going to make a mark. So there's point A. I'm going to go to point B. I'm going to make a mark. There's point B. I'm going to go to point D. I'm going to make a mark. Point D. I'm going to go to point C. And I'm going to make a mark. Point C. Right. Can you see how those 4 marks over here have been transferred exactly 80 millimeters away from there? If I use those as the centers, I can then draw in an isometric circle using the same radii. Okay, so I set my pair of compasses to that radius. At D, I take it to D, and I draw a construction line circle, not a dark circle, construction line circle over there. I go to point A, take that radius over there, take it back, draw a construction line circle over here. I'm then going to take this radius over here, and I'm going to move it to point B, and I'm going to draw a construction line circle over there. I'm going to take the radius from C. Let's just get that correct. There we go to C, and draw my construction line circle in over there. At the end of the day, you can see that there's my isometric circle being drawn 80 millimeters away from my original isometric circle. Once I've done that, I can then take a tangential line from the edge of this arc to the edge of that arc, and take another tangential line from the edge of that arc to the edge of that arc. There we go. And you can see a cylinder beginning to form. Now I can see what needs to be done in dark and what needs to be done as hidden detail. This part over here I'm going to say is hidden detail. That part over there is going to be dark. So I take my radii that I got from over here, and I take that back, and I darken in the portion of that line that still needs to be dark. There it is. A should have exactly the same radius. And then I take my arc that I got from over here, and I can take that to point C and draw that in over there. And that is your isometric cylinder.